We thank the Director for UNRWA for briefing the committee. We fully support UNRWA's mandate under Resolution 1429, and we will continue to support UNRWA until the Palestinian refugees are able to return to their homeland once they establish an independent and viable contiguous state within the borders of the pre-1967 June, with Al-Aqsa as its capital. Madam Chair, I would want to focus today only on what we are witnessing in Gaza and in the West Bank, a human tragedy of epic proportions. Despite the overwhelming call by the General Assembly for an immediate and sustained humanitarian truce, a ceasefire, Israel's brutal campaign of bombardment, airstrikes, and now a ground invasion has continued uninterrupted for 26 days and more. What we are witnessing, let us not disguise what we are witnessing. We are witnessing war crimes and crimes against humanity committed with complete impunity under the cover of those who have prevented a ceasefire and enabled the continued slaughter of innocent children, women, and men. This crime will be remembered in history. We will not forget. This is, as some within the United Nations, courageous people within the United Nations have said, this is genocide. Make no mistake, we will remember this genocide. 8,000 mercilessly killed in Gaza, 22,000 injured, mostly 60% plus women and children. This is a cowardly aggression. Pakistan, Madam Chair, will continue to provide whatever it can to support the Palestinians who are besieged. We are sending supplies through Egypt, our friends, and we hope that we can bring some measure of relief. I would like to express my great admiration for the courageous work of UNRWA, for the bold statement that was made by the Commissioner General Lazzarini when he said that what was required first and foremost was a ceasefire. We need an unconditional and sustained ceasefire. This is what the General Assembly has called for. We express our condolences to Commissioner Lazzarini and to the families of the 72 UNRWA staff who have been martyred. We pray for their souls. And we reject with utter contempt the vile allegations that were made here this afternoon by the representative of Israel against UNRWA. This is adding spice to the crime. This is disguising the crime. and it must be rejected with the contempt it deserves. Madam Chair, we trust that the Secretary General, once the dust has settled, will honor the 72 martyrs of UNRWA in the same way as we honor our fallen UN peacekeepers. We have not heard of a word of commendation, of condolence, and we would like to hear that for these 72 martyrs. Madam Chair, we all know what we need, what needs to happen. What needs to happen first and foremost is the ceasefire. The killing must stop. Israel's cowardly attacks against the helpless people must stop. It is doing itself no good, and it is killing people needlessly. Secondly, there must be strict adherence to international humanitarian law. There are blatant crimes being committed. We must call them out. We must make a repository of the crimes that have been committed in this war. And we must not forget. And we must not forget because there must be accountability for these crimes. And the time will come when we will ask for accountability and we will demand it. We must also ensure safe, unimpeded, substantial and continuous flow of humanitarian aid, including fuel, into the Gaza Strip and prevent any impediment to the flow of such assistance. And finally, we must make sure that UNRWA has the money that it needs to take care of its staff, to take care of those under its care, and to continue to operate in these horrendous situations. We admire the work that UNRWA is doing, and we fully support their efforts in saving lives, in saving the besieged people of Gaza. And lastly, I would appeal to those who voted against the resolution of the General Assembly calling for a ceasefire and a humanitarian support, and to those who abstained on that resolution. And I would urge them to search their conscience and to see if they could not now express their support for the ceasefire, express their support for the humanitarian relief that is required, express their support for the observance of international humanitarian law. We will raise this issue again and again until we have an answer. I thank you, Madam Chair.